this according to Scripture. Real simple. You ain't got food and you ain't got raiment. You may not have a house. God says you ain't poor. Never says in there that if you have a house and food and raiment to be content. It says if you've got food and raiment, therewith be content. I know that don't fit the humanistic socialists, but we need to quit listening to those people. A poor person is one who is dependent upon others for daily sustenance. Those who, because of their condition, now listen to me, we're talking about a true poor person. Those who, because of the condition that they're in, are vulnerable. This is where God comes in. When you are estimating, now you've been given a handout here today, and I'm not going to spend any time on it, but you ought to study this out, read it out, and be sure you write in there that you're not doing it for your benefit, but for God's glory. But this will help you. I'll just give you that handout there. Poor people are vulnerable. Now you listen to me. Y'all got your seatbelt on? Now listen to me. I'm going to preface this before I say it. I was talking to some people this week, and boy, I mean, they're wound up like an 8-day clock about all this political situation. And they said, Reggie, we just raised Republicans, but we've decided the Republicans are only about 20 years later than the Democrats. It's about the way it's turned out. They just don't spend as much as fast. They're just about 20 years behind. But you listen to me. The poor people of America were vulnerable in the Depression, and FDR took advantage of them, and I don't care what you say. He exploited the poor of this people by turning their hearts to government rather than to God, making them dependent and making them believe that his party was the one who pulled them out of poverty. And he created a national, perpetual, generational dependence upon government and turned the heart of the American people away from God and ruined this country to this day. And what you've got right now in the Supreme Court ruling and what you've got going in America was birthed in 1935 with the act of the Welfare Act. And it created, and hey, I can prove it to you every way you want to slice the pie. Our homes are busted up. Our children are without fathers. We're not out of poverty. There's more filth and wretchedness in the country. Go down. I was in St. Louis downtown this week. Every place, it's a mess. It's a wreck. It's a trash pile. Nobody wants to live there. They've been on the war on poverty for 50 years now. Been on government dole-outs for 70-some years. And they're beat-bopping up and down the street. Homes busted up. Nobody knows who their daddy is. They're out there dealing drugs on the sidewalk. Don't tell me for a second that the government welfare programs have helped this country an ounce. They've killed this country. They're killing this country. They've destroyed the homes. They've destroyed fatherhood. They've destroyed motherhood. They've destroyed the family. It's been done by giving to the poor. Giving to the poor. Exploited. Democrat Party bought the black vote with welfare. They're trying to buy the Hispanic vote. Welfare. Yes, sir. Boy, that's good preaching. I can feel the devil mad. I feel the heat coming off of him. I feel the devil said, nobody's supposed to preach stuff like that in America. Yeah, we ought to be. And just as big a welfare bum as anybody else. Oh, I fell down at Walmart. You go down there to the lawyer. You could help me get disability, could you? Well, we might be able to. Now, we'll only charge you 30% of your check for as long as you get it. It's exactly how it is. So we go down here to the doctor, and the doctor and the lawyer's got a deal cut. You give him a sheet of paper that says he's disabled, I'll cut you part of the deal. Yes, sir. That's how it's going on in this country. We're sick. We're sick. We're sick. And so he gets his disability check, and the next thing you'll see him's out there. He's underneath his car fixing out. He's disabled. He can come over and work for you a little bit. I need you to pay me in cash. Make the check out to my wife. You're a liar. You're a thief. And you're stealing off of the people that live next to you. You're sucking the lifeblood and the sweat and the toil and the wealth of your own neighbors. You're an Obama-mite because you want to redistribute the wealth